Hello everybody, and welcome back to another one of my Wolf Quest update videos where I basically draw my wolves in my Wolf Quest packs. If you don't know what Wolf Quest is, it's a really fun game where you get to play as a wild wolf in Yellowstone. And if you do know what Wolf Quest is, chances are you know about my wolves, and this is Dandelion. I decided that this time I was going to give them all of the wolves updated reference sheets because only a couple of them actually had reference sheets and they were not the best. So this is Dandelion. I didn't redraw every single wolf that I have because that would have taken me 1,000 years, like at least. So I didn't redraw everybody, but I did redraw quite a few of the wolves, especially the Buffalo Plateau. If I wasn't like super pleased with the way that the wolf looked from their original picture, then I redrew them just to ease my mind. But this is Dandelion, obviously the leader of the Buffalo Plateau pack, and then her mate is Buck. Dandy and Buck did really well last year until about the end when things started to go south. They moved to the very far east of Buffalo Plateau in Hellroaring Mountain and started to starve to death. The entire pack was struggling immensely. It was really, really rough, but they did manage to survive this year, and they kept 5 of their pups alive, I think. 5 out of 7. I could be wrong, but yeah, that's how they're doing this year. Next, we have Relic, who was our first dispersal ever, and he's doing quite well. He is the leader of Carpenter Lake, and he actually had 3 pups: Willow, Sycamore, and Laurel. We don't play with Relic. He lives in the same save as Dandelion, but we get to see his little family, his little adopted children from the pack leader before, and his current children with his mate, Trace. So they're doing really well. We haven't seen too much of them, thank goodness. This is Orion. He also dispersed and has a mate named Marlowe, and his younger brother Ray actually dispersed with him, so he has family in more than one sense. His original family came with him. I also wanted to point out that a lot of these wolves, actually all of the wolves, I traced the references, and I want to talk a little bit about that here and there as we go through these wolves, because in general I trace just the basic anatomy of the pictures that I find to get the anatomy down quickly. If I didn't do that, it would take me ages because sketching is what takes me the absolute longest whenever I'm drawing. So if I'm in a rush or I have 1,000 wolves to draw, as I did this time, I tend to just trace the reference. And some people will argue, but I don't think there's anything wrong with using an image the way that I do to get down the base. Because I'm not tracing somebody's art, I'm using a picture of a wolf to help me get the basic anatomy. I don't know, you guys will have to let me know what you think about this. I think it's okay. Now, tracing somebody's art, like tracing over what I've done of Cedar, I think is wrong because it's art that I've made, and I've made these wolves look a specific way for a specific reason. You'll notice that on all of them I have little notes on the sides that is basically like their shapes. So Cedar is stocky, and he has these like round ears, and he has a muscular body. He has a very specific shape to him, and they all do. And so that's how I kind of help characterize each wolf to make them look a little bit different and to be able to tell who's in what family and stuff like that. So I make them look different than just the reference. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about this. I'm like, this voiceover is completely unscripted, so hopefully it's not an absolute disaster. But obviously we went through Cedar, and now this is Holly. She is the last of the eldest pups, and this year, while we were in the Young Hunter's Quest, she fell in love with a wolf named Fish, and she was going to disperse with him, but we were very rudely interrupted by Relic's pack, And time went on and we never found fish again. So I'm very hopeful that Holly will be able to find fish in the future because I feel so bad for her. Like, she deserves love, and she really, really liked him. I think they would have been super cute together, but alas, we got chased off, which is a big bummer. I also really like the little holly leaves that I put on her little reference. I think it's so cute. I added a bunch of little doodads here and there. This is Sol. He is the first of the second litter, so he's 2 years old. The others were 3. And he is on our list of potential leaders for the Buffalo Plateau pack. Once Dandy dies, one of her pups will take over, and so far the list includes Relic, Sol, and another wolf that we'll get to momentarily. This is Meadow. Meadow is actually the youngest dispersal that we have, I think, or one of the youngest dispersals. She actually dispersed with a wolf named Shadow, who was part of a pack that actually killed one of Meadow's siblings. So it's kind of an interesting, strained relationship between Dandy and Meadow's mate, but we'll let it slide. Dandy is very forgiving and she loves her children more than anything, so I think that she would be like, okay, if you really love him, then that's fine. I adore Meadow. I think she's such a cutie pie. I wasn't the biggest fan of the way that her original reference looked, the one that's on the left right there in the little small one. So I did redraw her. I think this suits her. I think it's really cute. Next we have Dawn, who I actually wanted to be the potential heir to the Buffalo Plateau throne or whatever. I love Dawn. I think she's so cute. She has the biggest ears you could ever possibly imagine, and I think it's really funny. Again, this is not seen in the reference of the wolf, and it's also not seen in the Wolf Quest wolf. It's just sort of a detail that I kind of wanted to give to her to make her unique. So she's got big ears. But Dawn is super sweet, really, really cool. I'm really excited to see who is going to disperse next, because I do think that Dawn is probably up there in wolves that will disperse probably sooner rather than later, to be honest. Next we have Ray. This is the brother of Orion that dispersed with him. So they both live in the same pack. Gosh, I already forgot what the pack is. There's so many different packs to remember. But Ray and Orion, they both are in the same pack, and Ray is just a subordinate male in the pack. So he helps look after Orion's pups. I'm really surprised that he did that because he and Flare were best friends, his other brother, but I don't know, I guess he was ready and Flare wasn't, I suppose. Also, his coat is graying out slowly but surely, so he's definitely gotten much lighter over time, and he will continue to get lighter as he grows older. Although I'm not sure how many more drawings I'll be doing of Ray, just because he's dispersed and we really won't see him very much. This is Flare. Flare's the one that I was just talking about. I really thought that Flare and Ray would go together, but apparently not. So a lot of the Buffalo Plateau wolves, this pack, they have, in general, pretty big ears, big round ears, and they're quite lanky. For the most part, not all of them, because Buck is not as lanky as Dandy is. But if you didn't know, Buck is actually a wolf dog, And that's not something you can actually get in Wolf Quest. It's just something that I decided because he has the skinniest little tail and he's got a floppy ear. So he just looks like he's a wolf dog. So all of these wolves are actually a quarter dog. Okay, next we have the other heir to the throne. So joining Relic and Soul is Celine. So Celine is like the complete opposite of her mother, Dandy. Dandelion is bright, sunshiny, happy, just a pleasant wolf, very friendly and outgoing and forgiving. And Celine is the complete opposite. She was named after the goddess of the moon, and she is blunt, cold, independent, keeps to herself. She's not mean, but she will definitely tell you exactly what she's thinking. I think that she turned out absolutely gorgeous, and I'm very pleased that you guys chose her to be the potential next leader. I think she would make a fantastic leader, and I really, really love her design. I think that her yellowy eyes look like the moon, and I had to add a few moon motifs here and there on her little sheet. So next, this is Ether. I forgot to mention Celine. Celine and the rest of these wolves will be from the most recent litter that we got through the Young Hunter's Quest. So this is Ether. He's 1 year old, and he was named after the personification of light. We went for like a Greek god, lesser known Greek god theme for our third litter. But Ether is big, clumsy. He's kind of goofy and cocky, and I tried to give him that sort of an expression. Just sort of silly, chill guy. He's very big. Next is Erebus. He is probably one of my favorites. He's very quiet and keeps to himself a lot. He's named after the god of darkness, so he's got that sort of vibe about him, a little bit mysterious, a little bit quiet, but I think that he turned out really, really handsome. Again, he's another one of those wolves that isn't quite lanky like the others are, but he's similar to Cedar and to Ether. They're quite big, but not tall, just a bit stocky. But I think Erebus is really, really cool, especially with the sort of bluish tint to his fur. I think it adds something different that a lot of the wolves don't have, which is blue. Not a lot of our wolves are blue. But I think that he's super awesome. I made his eyes like a really dark bluish gray because I just think it looks good. But he's quite cool-headed. I think he would have made a really good leader as well after Celine. Next is a wolf who I do not think would have made a good leader, which is Helios. He is named after the god of the sun, and he's quite bright and sunny like his mom. He's got a happy-go-lucky sort of attitude. He kind of gets into trouble pretty often. He's a little bit mischievous. He's gorgeous, don't get me wrong. I love his design, and he actually has heterochromia. I decided to do that because when he was a pup, he had the most gorgeous blue eyes, and they just popped off of his coat so nicely. But then as he grew up, they became green because wolves don't have blue eyes. So I was a little bit disappointed. So I went ahead and gave him one blue eye, one green eye, just for fun, and he's a quarter dog, as I mentioned, so the potential for him to have blue eyes is pretty low, to be honest, really low, but not zero, I don't think, so maybe he could have blue eyes naturally. I don't know. But he's very chill, relaxed. Finally, we have Hermes, who I think that this reference, I don't know, I found it on Pinterest, and then all of the comments on that Pinterest picture were like, this is AI. And I don't know, it's getting so hard to tell these days. I'm not sure if it's AI or if it's just been photoshopped because that wolf was like fully red. But anyways, this is Hermes. He's quite mischievous and he gets into trouble a lot with Helios, so they make quite the dynamic duo. I gave him a really long coat on his back, and I imagine that when he's angry or upset, he like gets the most massive, like almost like a hyena back, like all of his hair stands up on his back, and he looks absolutely humongous. I think that's such a, I don't know, it's a fun idea. I don't think anybody else has really long back fur, so I just think it's fun. And that's the full Buffalo Plateau pack. So this is our current family tree. We're simply missing Kestrel, Spirit, Copper, Adonis, and Pan, which are the pups that we've lost along the way, unfortunately. So next is the Geode pack. Our leader, valiant leader of the Geode pack, is of course Amanita, named after the mushroom. She is beautiful and lovely. I adore her. She's quite feisty. She's definitely the meanest wolf that we have. She got into a fight with her own children who tried to invade her den site. And yeah, she means business. She will fight them even though they're related. They may be her sons, but she will not stand for that. Her mate West, however, is much more forgiving and does not want to fight his sons. He's very sweet and kind and balances out Amanita really well. As long as she actually listens to him. She doesn't usually, but you know, he tries. He's actually the youngest of all the mates in all of the packs. He's only 5 years old, but he is the biggest wolf that we have in all of our series. And if you're wondering how I know that, it's because I made it up. This is Opal. She is the only pup from Amanita's first litter to survive, and so she's on the Geode list of potential new leaders. So I would be very interested to see how Opal would change the Geode pack. Also on the list of leaders is Ouroboros. He is currently dispersed, but he joined the pack. I think it's Squirrel Canyon. He is the subordinate to his runt brother, Sprout. And Sprout has a mate, but Ouroboros, I think, just kind of went along with Sprout just to keep an eye on his brother. I think he wants to keep him safe. He's a very family-oriented wolf and can be quite sensitive. Genesis is actually our only dispersal in all of the packs that is just free living. He has no mate, no pack. He's just out living his life, looking for a mate, doing his thing. So I wish him the best of luck. Glory was the only girl who managed to survive the second litter. Her sister Hope did not make it, unfortunately. But she's doing well. She's quite calm and quiet and very submissive. I don't foresee her dispersing very soon, but that doesn't mean anything. You never know with these wolves. They might surprise you. Sprout was definitely a surprise when he dispersed, and not only dispersed, but became the pack leader of a pack on the map. So he's quite an outgoing little guy. I'm very impressed by him and his abilities. Next is Wildfire, a fun, cocky, interesting wolf. He likes to dance, and we decided that because every time he tried to route to like play with one of his siblings or something like that, he would just like glitch all over the place and it looked like he was dancing. It takes some creativity to come up with some silly little personality things like that, but it's a lot of fun. And last of this litter is Phoenix. He is lazy but fast and just kind of likes to hang out. I don't see him dispersing anytime soon either. I think he likes the fact that he can just hang out at home. All right, litter number 3. This is the final wolf that is on the list of potential heirs for the Geode pack. This is Onyx. I was quite shocked that Onyx won the poll that I usually put out on my community tab. I didn't foresee her winning, to be honest, but I think she would make a great leader. Clearly, I was struggling with her face. I remember. I'm still not totally convinced by how it looks, but it was, yeah, I had a hard time with that. But yeah, Onyx is quite cocky and outgoing, and she makes a lot of interesting choices that can put her in danger sometimes. So I'm very curious to see what kind of a leader she'll actually turn out to be, but she's very beautiful, and she could be a very good leader. We'll see. Next is Amethyst. I think this is the smallest pup from this litter. She just has that sort of like little sister vibe. She has a little floppy ear, which is adorable. She's really cute. I really like her a lot. All of these wolves, well, not all of them, but a few of the Geode wolves I decided to give different eye colors to, just based on what geodes they were named after. So Amethyst has very dark eyes, but they are slightly purple, like an amethyst. So it just kind of makes her a little bit different from everybody else. Everybody with their brown eyes and green eyes. If there's anything wrong with those, it's just we have too many. I really, really like Amethyst's design. She's super interesting and quite intricate, so I really like her a lot. She's quite silly and a little bit like a puppy, a little baby-like, and I adore her. I think she's such a cutie pie. So this is Gem, and this is actually the wolf that I would have chosen to be the next leader of the Geode pack. It's not always up to me, so I'm happy that you guys get to choose who gets to go on the list, but I think Gem would have been my choice from this litter. She's very sweet and quite calm and quiet, but she is very talented. She's a very good hunter, and she likes to get her way. She will do what she needs to get her way. She may be unassuming, but she means business. But I think that her design is so gorgeous. I especially really like the way that her eyes look. I always feel weird saying how much I like their design, because I feel like I'm tooting my own horn. But I do. I really like the way that Gem turned out. I think she's beautiful. Oh yeah, and she's scared of water. I forgot about that. When she was a pup, she would refuse to go into the water whenever we had to cross it, so I'd have to go pick her up all the time. Okay, next, I hated this. I hated this sketch so much. I don't know what it was about the back legs. It just felt so wrong, so I ended up getting rid of that and starting over with this sketch, which I like a lot more for Obsidian. I think he turned out really cute with this little pose. I really like his like stocky, thick body that he ended up with. I tried to base a lot of the Geode pack on Arctic wolves, which are kind of thick, fluffy white wolves, and the Buffalo Plateau tends to be based on red wolves, and Snowberry pack tends to be based on sea wolves. I know a lot of you guys know about sea wolves. But anyway, this is Obsidian. He is super cool. I really like his little ear nick, and I think he looks a little bit orca-like, unintentionally. And this is his brother, Ammonite. I think Ammonite turned out pretty good too. He's also quite thick and stocky, like a Arctic wolf. And he's very, very dark in game, but I tried to lighten up their coats a little bit just to get a little bit of contrast, you know? Especially with his cheeks. His coat is called White Cheeks, so I made them white. When Ammonite was actually a pup, he was a very reddish, dark color like his mother, Amanita, so I thought that he would turn out to look like her, which is why I named him Ammonite, which is very similar to Amanita. But he turned out to look absolutely nothing like his mother, so it was a little bit in vain. But I still really like his name, and I think it would be cool to have like a fossils-themed litter at some point. Speaking of which, if you guys have any good litter theme suggestions, then please leave them down below. I'd love to see them. And finally, another sketch I hated. This is Tiger Eye. I think he would have been my second choice for leader because he's quite a skilled hunter. He's very active and outgoing. He's a really great hunter, honestly. He learned all of his skills in the Young Hunter's Quest before everybody else, despite being the smallest pup out of everyone. So he's quite a talented little guy. His coat in-game is not anything terribly special. We've had a couple of wolves with the same coat at this point, so I tried really hard to make him look different in my drawing, as I try to do with everyone, but especially with wolves that have the same coats. A few of our wolves actually have the same coats. We have Pond, Glory, and who else? I don't remember. Pond and Glory for sure have the same coat, and another wolf in the Buffalo Plateau. But this is our pack so far. We're going to be adding more as soon as our pups grow up for the next year. And then finally, a lot of people's favorite pack is the Snowberry pack and Eddie. And honestly, I can see why. I love Eddie. He's very charming and sweet, despite being an absolute wreck. He's a mess of a boy, but he does his best. And yeah, he's based off of a sea wolf, so they're quite skinny and slim, and I think that it really sells his runt vibe. His mate, on the other hand, Jade, is quite a big wolf. She's thick, and I think she's gorgeous. She ended up with a new front leg scar on her right front leg. I give new scars to wolves based on if they've received a major injury in-game. So you'll see a few new scars on the wolves this year, on just a couple of them. They don't get major injuries terribly often, but when they do, I give their designs a new scar. This is Winter. He is on the list of potential heirs for the Snowberry pack. I adore him. I think he's gorgeous, and I think that he would make a fantastic leader. I am secretly very pleased that he did not disperse this year because I would miss him a lot. Important about him is that he has very fluffy front legs. Lark did disperse this year, and he joined a pack called Rick's Ridge, and they actually moved away from Slough Creek, so they are off doing their thing. And I will miss Lark quite a lot, and all of his shenanigans. He was quite the character, but I liked him a lot. Finally, we have Tempest, who has gained a scar on her left hind leg because of, I don't remember what happened. I think it was a run-in with some wolves, but she's got some curly fur, like her mother, Jade. Jade has quite curly fur, so a lot of the Snowberry wolves actually do have curly fur, but she's gorgeous, and she dispersed as well. Misty has a major injury on her left hind leg. You can just see it in this picture. I didn't want to redraw her though, because she was so cute. I love this pose. She's also on the list of potential heirs, and I think that she would make an absolute menace of a leader. I think she would be quite the nightmare, and she would be charging in at any opportunity and would fight anybody and everybody. Brooke is the more quiet of the three sisters, Brooke, Misty, and Pond. She's very quiet, keeps to herself. She's cautious, and I like her a lot. She's a good wolf to have around. She just kind of keeps to herself and makes sure that the pups are fed. She's quite motherly, so I really like her. She's super sweet. I think Pond is the only Snowberry wolf that I did redraw, and that's for very specific reason. And it's because I needed to draw her with her signature frisbee. Pond loves the frisbee that we found in Slow Creek, and she does not leave it anywhere. She must have it at all times. Her siblings tease her about it. They say that it's silly that she loves it so much, but she can't help it. She adores the frisbee. She must have it at all times. If ever you were going to draw Pond, you must draw her with her frisbee. Otherwise, it is not Pond. Speaking of which, if you guys wanted to draw these wolves, you absolutely can. Send me fan art either through the Discord, or a lot of people will post it on their YouTube community tab and then just tag me in it, which is totally fine as well. I love to see all the fan art that you guys make. I don't always respond, for which I'm sorry, but I love to see it. It's always so fun to see. Now I have to clarify that what I'm saying when I say you can draw these wolves is not that you can trace the wolves and say that you drew it yourself. That's completely different. Tracing somebody's artwork is not okay unless you have permission. And I'm not the biggest fan of people tracing my artwork because I've already seen it over on a lot of different platforms being used, and I don't really want my art to be used as a base unless one day I produce something that is meant to be a base, but then I would tell you guys. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of people tracing my art, so sorry if you've done that. So this is Ilura. She is the biggest of the pups for the last litter in the Snowberry pack. I love her. I think she turned out very sharp, which is what I was going for. I wanted her to look very wintry and cold and sharp. And she's quite the tease. She's a little bit cheeky, so I like her a lot. I think she would have made a really good leader. Actually, I think any of these wolves at the last 4 would have made a good leader, except for the one that was chosen. So this is Ira, and I hated this sketch. I went all the way through and inked it and everything, and I was like, ugh, just hate this. It's not good. So I ended up deleting this, but Ira is really sweet and kind and friendly and gentle, and I really like her. I also hated this too, so don't get attached. There we go. That's the right one. I think this shows off her kind of shy little personality and the way that she looks at the camera. I think it's super cute. But she's very shy, very quiet, and a little bit ditzy. She's very sweet. She reminds me a lot of Silver Mist from Tinkerbell. I don't know. Have any of you guys seen like the Tinkerbell movies? That used to be my thing when I was a kid. I loved the Tinkerbell movies. So yeah, she reminds me a lot of Silver Mist, which was one of my favorite characters, honestly. Next is another girl, Polar. She is one of the few reddish-brown wolves in the Snowberry pack. They tend to be gray or black or just like slightly tan, but she turned out to be very, very orange. And I actually had to kind of desaturate her coat colors from when I first designed her, because as she got older, her coat desaturated a lot. She turned out to be quite brown and not quite as orange as she was when she was a pup. So she is she's toned down a little bit. I think her design is super simple. and I like that a lot. She's quite a bold wolf, very talented, but also fairly independent, so she keeps to herself and does her own thing. And finally, our last wolf is Frostbite. So Frostbite was chosen to be on the list of next potential heirs, and I know why. He is a runt, and Eddie, his dad, is a runt, so it just kind of like, it follows along the trend, the runt trend, but Frostbite is the runtiest of runts. He is, his stats are terrible. They're really bad. He would definitely make a very interesting pack leader, that is for sure, just because it would be very difficult for him, and his pups would end up with really tragic stats. But, you know, it could be a lot of fun. Could be a lot of fun. He has very long curly hair, so he's a very gorgeous wolf. I really like his design. I think he turned out really nice, but he kind of almost looks like he's wet. But I like him a lot. He has a great personality. He just has a little bit of shameful stats. You'll see when I write them in. Yeah, look at that. -2, -1, 0, -1. But that's the Snowberry pack. And that's all of the packs. I can't believe we got through so many wolves. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please leave a like. Consider watching the Wolf Quest videos. I have a lot of them. Or maybe even the other Wolf Quest art videos. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed today's video, then stick around. And if you join me for my next one, I'll see you then.